Also, guys, we are back. This is going to be a fresh video, so I'll rehash it. We're going to be going through Pudgy Penguins. We're going to be going through Bitcoin trades and AI agents. Over the past few weeks, we have seen the market shift. We've seen a very brief altcoin season, followed by the biggest leverage collapse. And now we are back in the stage of the market where things are about to get very, very bullish. If you was on the last stream, we lagged out. So we're running it back all over again. It's nothing new though, guys. You haven't seen nothing. Sometimes, like, you might see a YouTube video, but best believe it took me like 6 times to record that YouTube video. So this is something that always happens anyway. But welcome back, Henry, and a few of the guys in the chat. Make sure you leave a 1 in the chat if you can hear everything fine this time. And yeah, Dale, I'll let you hop back in and take the stage, bro.
Hey, Tyrell, appreciate you having me. Always a pleasure. Yeah, it's been pretty exciting times in the market. Like we were stating earlier, you know, it's mid-December. Everyone's happy. Holiday season, money's flowing. We've seen various narratives that have been going on, from AI agents to NFTs to Dino coins and everything in between. I think that we're still going to have some good price action for the next few weeks, you know, before the inevitable retracement in January. But I mean, with Bitcoin's break above 107,000 and now just hovering below that trend line, I think there's, you know, going to be some attention back on altcoins fairly soon. And so I think we just have that liquidity black hole with Bitcoin, and, you know, that Pengu airdrop that happened today, which we'll actually go more in depth about. But yeah, I'm very bullish. I'm very bullish for December. I think there's a lot of good things to come.
Yeah, I feel like we're at the stage of that market now where we really get into that frothy part of the cycle where you can really start to make some good trades, can really hit some good moves, especially on the meme coin side of things as well. And we had the early XRP XLM push, and I remember last cycle I had a big bag of XLM, and I was looking at my bag, I was like, whoa, this is crazy, you know. And then 3 months later, everything went ballistic, and there's like full-blown altcoin season, and you're buying random things inside of your MetaMask. So I feel like we're getting to that stage. The Pudgy Penguins airdrop reminds me kind of like the Uniswap airdrop, just a little bit more hyped. Actually, I'd say it was more like the it's more like the Bored Ape airdrop. Is kind of Pudgy Penguins is what Bored Ape wanted to be. They did it absolutely perfectly. The launch and everything that was very, very good. So I think that that's going to bring a lot of money in. If you see him with the Hyperliquid saga, look what that did for Hyperliquid, and Hyperliquid's still going. It's probably going to be like a top 5 token. So maybe we have some potential NFT trades. It was on Salana, so I'm more bullish on the Salana stage of things, especially because the airdrop's going to be moving towards Sol. So people are going to be swapping their Pudgy for Sol, and then they're going to be straight back into the trenches. So yeah, a lot of interesting things to cover today, and I'm excited for it. So let's start off with some Bitcoin TA, and then we'll take it from there.
Let's do it. So yeah, Bitcoin, we saw that we have this trend line on the weekly we've been watching for a while now, and this stems from the 2017 high of 20,000. And then you can see that Bitcoin's rejected off it multiple times in 2021, and then just recently today. And so I think this is a big level everyone's watching. It intersects at about $107,500. Bitcoin even went up to 108,300. I actually didn't know it went that high, but yeah, we're still waiting for a close above this trend line. So guys, basically this trend line is still in effect until we get a close above on the weekly. And I would say a definitive close, not just, you know, something closing around 108,000. Like, it needs to be probably at least 109, 110,000, like definitively closing above it, to then where we can see, okay, let's see if it retests this trend line as support. And at that point, we'd be off to the races.
Yep.
Originally, I had my prediction of 120,000 by October of next year. That prediction could be blown out of the water. And we'll talk actually about a lot of upcoming some news articles that came out today, as well as some things to look forward to in January that I think could send Bitcoin a lot higher than 120. I'm thinking 200 to 250. But yeah, we'll look at that in a minute. But yeah, Tyrell, I mean, what are your thoughts on Bitcoin?
No, I completely agree. It's quite often, especially in like a very bullish cycle, that we do have a break above those types of trend lines. It's similar to the pi cycle top indicator, where you have that top side of the pi cycle, and that's a really big resistance, and then it actually flips into support, and you see it really, really rally a lot higher. And then obviously the bear market, it gets brutal. So I feel like we're at a similar stage right now where Bitcoin can probably have a close above 112. Then we see that type of area become support for the cycle. So we'll have some big volatility moving. And obviously, once we enter the bear market, we obviously retest the previous highs at like 60K and 70K. And that starts to become the bear market bottom over the next few years. So that's kind of what I think. I completely agree with you that if we do get a close above that red line, it's something which people should be looking at. We had the alpha last time when we were speaking about USDT dominance. That became one of the biggest calls that I've personally seen. So I do also think that this is
Mhm.
probably one of the big players as well.
Yes, absolutely. And I'll actually go over USDT dominance after this. But looking at the RSI, I mean, we can see the RSI still has some room to run. If we look at it, it's about 78 right now. And earlier this year, it was around 78 before it had the huge run from 52,000 to over 73,000 in the span of 2 months. And so I think that something very similar could happen here. And then also the stock RSI. So you can see how it is in this overbought territory, which is, you do need to exercise caution there, overbought with this trend line resistance. But you can see here that, like we had in December of last year, the stock RSI was overbought, and we could see Bitcoin, still rose a little bit for the next week or two after, and then chopped before rising again. So I think it's very possible that basically we could have, Bitcoin chop a little bit, maybe rise a little bit more before having a pullback in January. And during that time, for these next few weeks, I think alts are going to get their chance to shine. They've
Yeah,
kind of, been in the back burner. Obviously, we've had different rotation narratives, but I think that with Bitcoin doing as good as it's done, there hasn't really been that much liquidity in altcoins. So, yeah, I think it's only a matter of time before we see that big rotation.
yeah, agreed. And a lot of times, once we get to this stage of the cycle, people kind of forget about Bitcoin. So when we're close to all-time highs, and we're at this stage, I also remember doing it. Like you see Bitcoin pumping, and you think, "Fuck, all my bags are about to explode," and all of a sudden your bags start going down while Bitcoin's going up, and you sat there thinking, "What the fuck?" And it's kind of because Bitcoin's extracted all this liquidity from the market. While obviously the price is pumping, everybody's just putting longs on BTC. All the people that are holding BTC ain't really doing nothing. But what you start to see at this stage is people, fresh money come in, kind of push that money up. The older BTC holders actually start to get active and start selling their Bitcoin because they've been holding it since 16,000. And then they start to put the money into the players like Litecoin and all the other Dino coins as well. And then usually you see a big fresh L1 start moving. Yeah, these are your quants.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Like you said, so happy Bitcoin's pumping, but then you're in altcoins and they aren't doing anything. So
Exactly.
100%. And I think that also leads into our next point of USDT dominance that we were talking about. And so this is something that you and I have been covering for a while now. And I think a lot of people are finally starting to pick up on this, but
Yeah.
it's been, a trend, same as since Bitcoin, since, end of December 2017. And I think that this is actually even more so of a trend line, if you want to say, because it's touched multiple times. I want to say 8 times or so, whereas Bitcoin touched, I think, 4 or 5. So this trend is more established where you can
Yes.
clearly see whenever USDT dominance breaks below. I mean, look at this perfect retest of support turned resistance here. I mean, here, and it's still closed below. So that confirms this is actually a legitimate trend line, now turned resistance. And now it's just a matter of time before we can actually fall below this 3.8% level and really start to see altcoins boom like crazy. And for anyone who doesn't know what USDT dominance is, it's whenever, for example, if USDT dominance declines, then that means people are getting out of stable coins, investing in a Bitcoin and altcoins. Whereas when it rises, people are getting out of Bitcoin and altcoins and going back into stable coins, i.e., USDT and USDC. And so this is basically a pulse on the market of, hey, are people sidelined in altcoin or in stable coins right now? Or are they going to invest in Bitcoin and altcoins and taking more risk? And so when you get to these major support levels or these major trend lines, that's when you can expect to see some price action. And even right now, we're starting to see it come up against this resistance, this 3.94% resistance, where it could very well start rejecting off of this and then curve back to the downside. And like I said, if we start breaking below this 3.8% support, then all bets are off because there's a lot of air below here, and that's when you'll really start to see altcoins go. That could be, mid-January towards the end of January, because again, this is a weekly chart, so it does take a few weeks to play out. But nonetheless, I mean, we are very, very close to having just a crazy euphoric alt season.
Yeah, and I think it's gonna be one of those alt seasons where everything starts pumping. We start to go back more towards the ICOs. Um, and to be fair, I was like, I was fairly skeptical about ICOs, and I thought that ICOs they're not going to be a thing this cycle and stuff like that. After I seen the Pudgy Penguins airdrop and how people were like really trying to snipe that airdrop, it reminded me of the ICO era, where people really just don't understand the fact that like something's launching at like a 1 billion, $2 billion market cap. It's not, you're probably going to make a 2x max, and there's probably going to be one guy who snipes it and makes money. But people are jumping in, like the exit liquidity was primed. So it's kind of like it's like people want to be the exit liquidity for the one chance of making a bit of money on the launch, and that is what ICO era was all about. It was like being awake till 1 a.m., 2 a.m., trying to jump on this launch, and in the hopes that you can make a little bit of money. And everybody was doing it, and then you had the whales come in
Yes.
and buy 50 or 100 grand to make 30, 40%, and that just shot the prices up of these valuations through the roof. So I feel like we might even have a little ICO era, maybe not on Ethereum, maybe on Solana, but um, that's something which might come to pass. Iquam said he can't really hear me. Let me know once in the chat if you can hear me, but I won it back. I just turned up my mic. I basically said that ICO era is probably going to come back, maybe on Solana, if it's primed.
Yeah, no, 100%, 100%. And like you were saying about the exit liquidity, I don't think I've ever seen a time where there's this many new people in the market. Like even in the Discord groups, Telegram groups,
Yeah.
like there are a lot of new people that don't even know how to buy cryptocurrency or even buy NFTs. And that's something that surprised me. I don't even know if in 2017 if we saw this many new people. Not saying that's a top signal, but all in all saying that this new generation, kind of the TikTok generation, if you will, they weren't around in 2017. And
No way.
so now, right? And so now we're seeing all those people come into crypto because it is quote unquote get rich quick scheme. And so people are gravitated towards that. And basically, like you said, ICOs are one of the quickest ways to make quick money if you can get in early. But at the end of the day, I think it's, just where the attention's at. And there is a lot of opportunity right now, but people just need to be careful of, and understand what they invest in. And before they do it, like, what's the chances they're actually going to make money versus, like you said, be used as exit liquidity. So it's definitely a game of musical chairs and a game where you need to have a lot of knowledge before you even get into something because it's very very PvP on some of these launches.
Yeah, exactly. It's one thing you have to be careful about, and it's tough because I seen somebody comment ask about like Doge. So I'll explain the Doge stuff as well. But when you are coming into crypto, you have to understand that you're building a portfolio. So a small part of your portfolio is going to be for making plays. Those plays are either going to go up or they're going to go to zero very fast. But that's the game that you're playing. For example, there was a coin this morning called Unicorn Fart Dust, UFD, right? It did 100x in an hour. So somebody made 100x, somebody else lost 90%. That's the game, right? Then you
Yep.
have your midterms. These are your ecosystems. So you have, you can bet on your Bitcoin, then you can go maybe buy all the runes and stuff like that. Right? If you don't know what runes are, you'll figure it out. Or you can buy BTC, ETH, buy all the ETH betas. And then you can buy things like Uni as well, because when ETH pumps, Uni's going to pump. And then you can go over to base chain and buy loads of base chain coins. They're probably going to sit down sideways for 6 months, or they can go to shit. One of them's going to do 100x. You have to wait for that. And then you have your long-term portfolio, which you're never going to sell, things like your BTC and your ETH, and even you sometimes, well, at this stage, you may as well be your Salana. You're going to stay on it for 2 to 5 years, okay? So you have to know that if you come into this game, that's the game that you're playing. So, for example, especially when you watch this channel, for the person asking about Doge, that Doge call went up 20x. When Doge Department of Government Efficiency came out, it went crazy. So if you bought it at the right time, you would have made money. If you bought it at a lot later time, you didn't make money. That's how it is. But if you looked at the whole portfolio, you looked at things like Dog and Me, which also did absolutely crazy. If you look at some of our live streams like Virtuals now at $2 billion market cap. You look at Griffin's up 30%. You look at all the players. Litecoin was called in the channel. We're making money here. So you have to learn not to be attached to your dead bags. You have to keep flowing and moving with the money. Some days you're going to be late, some days you're going to be early. And that's the key about it. And sometimes, guys, you just have to be happy and appreciate being the exit liquidity, man. Many a times, I've came into a call, like I'm in the chat with the boys and I'm in late and I think, fuck it, I'll top blast it. You know what I mean? Like, I might be the exit liquidity, maybe it keeps going up, but fuck it. You just come in there and you just clip it for the boys. That's how the game is.
Exactly. And I think, you nailed it on the head. Sometimes you are exit liquidity. And a couple of things too, and we can even go over like the metrics of the Pengu airdrop today since it is such a big topic. I know people are kind of wondering about the token and stuff, but yeah, like nowadays everyone has the same tools and has access to the same data, more or
Yeah.
less. Like, with you and Bullex, with Bullex Neo, how that's so useful now, and everyone has access to like these smart wallets and all this data, so everyone's in the trenches. So it's not so much as easy as, well, if I just have this one bot, I'm gonna do amazing. Well, it's like everyone has that bot now, and it's become
Yes.
so easy. So yeah, so guys, like you really have to put in the work to make a lot of money. And sometimes, you do take chances and you do lose, you do get rugged. But at the end of the day, it's all about diversification and putting in that work to spot those plays early, which in the trenches, I mean, I know we're, cooking in there just with leverage trades and with finding early gems. Like, and that's one of the things where if you can find good groups to get in, and then it can kind of shorten that learning curve and can help with that knowledge gap to where you have people like Tyrell and I and other people in the trenches who are spotting these plays early, and you can make a lot of profit off of it.
100%, 100%. Let's go over the Pudgy Penguins and then let's break down like your stuff. In fact, I'll do one for Twitter because
Yep.
I know I'm probably gonna clip this. Um, so would you invest into Pudgy Penguins right now? And what are your price predictions for Pudgy?
Okay, so with Pudgy Penguins, so let's real quick just go over to CoinGecko. We saw a nice little spike in price recently. Pudgy Penguins launched, I think it was, well, almost double here. So it was near a $5-6 billion valuation. I think it launched a $7 billion FDV, which was crazy, right? But people were like, most people were expecting 1 billion, but then it got up to seven. So that was kind of a lot of people's targets between 5 to 10. But the thing with the Pudgy token launch was, I think 70% of the tokens were distributed and were, given out. And that is a lot to be circulating right away. And so, the team was taking a chance on that. Now, on the flip side, they were airdropped to a lot of holders, not just Pudgy Penguin NFT holders, but like Mad Lads and like all these other NFTs and all these other communities that were airdropped these tokens. And the team did that on purpose to, one, onboard more people, but just help increase that visibility.
Yeah,
And obviously the team knows if they distribute 70% of the tokens, there's going to be a big dump on launch.
yeah,
But what the team is planning, one, there's going to be a lot more updates down the line. One, for Pudgy holders, but two, for people holding the token. Like I know they have the abstract chain, which is getting very, very big. And I can actually go over that real quick. So, Abstract, their mainnet is coming in January 2025. And look, they're even posting about with Pudgy Penguins here. And it says, I think it's pretty obvious, but Abstract Chain is about to kick off a brand new NFT season. And so they're just getting started here. Like people call this, Pudgy Penguins chain, but Abstract is going to create a whole new ecosystem. Mainnet's in January. So this is going to create a ton of hype. So yeah, Pudgies aren't done yet. Now, to Tyrell's question is, would I buy here? I think I would start to DCA a little bit because I was debating DCAing around 2.7 cents, and now this thing's already went up to almost 3.1, so over 20%. And so I think people are starting to DCA back in. They kind of saw a bottom there. One of the things that I posted on my X account is here. I posted, you need to check this Flipside crypto website where this actually tells how many people have claimed so far. So right now, 36.6% have claimed. And you can see here that the hourly Pengu claim rate. So you can see obviously it's a lot lower now, but the claim portal is working. So you're not really going to have any lagging. If you do, just wait when you connect your wallet and claim, just wait for a second. It's a little slow, but it does work. So yeah, so right now it's 36%. So I would say once this gets to around 50 to 60%, we can start seeing a lot of buying start to happen. I've been watching this all day, and it's actually, I think it's went over about 5% in the past maybe 3 hours. So not too bad, right? You could say this time tomorrow we could be above 50%. So keep an eye on this. People are already starting to buy from this dip. So 2.7 cents may have been the bottom, honestly. Now on
Agreed.
top of that,
And I just
yeah,
wanted to
right.
mention, so
Mhm.
the reason why Dogecoin is such a high market cap is because the supply was able to be mined on your laptop. So anybody could mine it. So because of how big the supply distribution was, allowed for the token to pump very highly. The issue that a lot of people have when they do these types of launches, which Pudgy Penguins is doing, is they don't have enough exposure. So they launch like these coins and they're like, right, we're going to put all the supply out there. We're going to do a good launch, right? We're going to be fair to the community. But they have no community. The difference is with Pudgy Penguins is that they had the ETH OGs come in and claim their wallets. They had the Solana OGs come in and claim their wallets. They had like 15, 20 different NFT communities come in and claim their wallets. Their supply distribution is massive. And then if they don't claim those tokens are gone out of the supply. This means everybody's going to have a few $100s of Pudgy in their wallet, which means that, first of all, there's not going to be massive supply control by a few people that own like majority of supply. And second of all, everybody's had a fucking Pudgy in their wallet, so they've got exposure to it, right? This means that this thing could go to a $40 billion market cap. And it sounds crazy saying that now, but also sounded crazy a few weeks ago saying that this thing was going to launch and go to 7 billion. So, in my opinion, I think, yeah, you're making the right decision here. I think this, like DCAing into this, is going to do well. And a lot of the whale wallets I've been tracking have been absolutely blasting this thing. They're blasting it like goat. They're putting like 300K in here, because they know that okay, it's probably going to 5x and make a million.
Exactly. And yeah, like you're saying, I mean, people are already DCing in here. There's already whales who know where this is going. The opportunity is there. And just, I mean, looking at the market cap right now of, fully diluted about 2.7 billion, circulating about 1.9 billion. And yeah, when you look at these other top memes, heck, you even look at the ape coin, right? So the ape coin right now, I think it is, let me just double check here. Oh, it's actually not even in the top
ApeCoin went
100.
to shit. Yeah, but when
Yeah.
they launched, if you look at their launch was quite good. If you pull up their chart,
Yep.
fairly similar. I think ApeCoin went up to some ridiculous amount. Like it was, well, I know for a fact it was 10x higher than where it was now. Um,
Yeah.
so that was a few. That was easily a few billion. Was it 14 billion?
So it went up to $23. Actually, let's look at market cap here. So it went up to almost 7 billion. So funny enough, almost the same where Pengu launched.
I knew it was giving me ApeCoin vibes. Right? I just knew it was. Like I knew it was because ApeCoin. I remember everybody. You had the ape, and then you had the mini apes. Like you had the bored apes, and you had the mutant apes, and you got big airdrops for them. Pudgy was similar. You had the Pudgies, and then you had the smaller ones. And they did crazy airdrops. They got like 100 grand each for them. The only issue was the price discrepancy. So if you brought a Pudgy quite late, where the price was 100 grand, you basically didn't make crazy amounts of money because everybody sold their Pudgies after the airdrop. So you kind of have to wait. But if you was an OG, you've made crazy money because you bought Pudgies for like, I don't know, 10 ETH, whatever, 20 ETH. And now look, so it's crazy to see.
Yes, and look when ApeCoin was launched. It was launched basically in the middle of the bear market, and it peaked in April of 2022.
Yes.
And we both know that April is when we topped even this year, right? So April, I mean, it was towards the end, getting into the summer, where there's low volatility. Whereas now Pengu got up to 7 billion, and and this is just the beginning, right? I mean, we still have an entire, call it at least 3 to 4 months of a bull run left,
Yes.
whereas 7 billion is just the starting line. And so, yeah, I could see Pengu much higher than this. I could see it 10, 20 billion. So what is that? 5 to 10x from where it's at now. And
Yes.
so I think it's only a matter of time. And if you can get it near 1 billion, that would be the best for Pengu. I think 1 billion would be, a lot of people were expecting it to launch around 1 billion or 1 cent. So yeah, so that would be a great level. But yeah, keep an eye on the website. Again, that Flipside website where it's going to show what percentage of people have claimed. And once this gets over 50%, we'll start seeing the buys ramp up. And then 60, 70%, like it's going to be crazy. But people have 88 days to claim this. So
Yeah.
place another clock on that. I think 88 days, well, that's more or less 3 months. So call it March, mid-March, when the claims are going to end, and maybe that's the time when we're having the crazy euphoric bull run, and then Pudgy just sends after that. Like so, there's all
Yeah.
kinds of opportunities, and yeah,
And
just DCA.
perpetuals as well, bro. So like for example,
Mm-hmm.
if there's a big, so if we're planning this out and we're thinking ahead, January, we think January is going to do a dump or something like this, right?
Mm-hmm.
So by January, if there's a dump, that means that Pudgy's is probably going to pull back. Pudgy's going to have that 30% crash, right? That's when you want to
Yep.
get in and you want to start, okay, boom, I can put on a swing long here for like the rest of the cycle. Probably rinse like a 10x. See if you want to have like a 3x leverage trade on.
Yep, 100%. And that's the way you can help protect yourself too. I mean, with perps, right? If you want to protect yourself on the downside, take a small leverage short, or on the upside, if you don't have a lot of money to play with, maybe low leverage long and let it ride from there. So I think there's a lot of opportunities and a lot of tools now that maybe weren't available back whenever ApeCoin launched. So I think it's a good time, and it's a good place in the market where there's a lot of opportunity for the next 3 to 4 months.
How much are these Pudgy's going for now after
So,
the pullback?
man, I was keeping an eye on these actually. So little pudgies were like 4.15 ETH before the launch yesterday, and then they dropped. But this was actually 1.66 Ethereum a couple hours ago, and so now it's 1.77. So I think pudgies are going to start to gain traction again. Like, I think we've reached a floor is around 1.5 to 1.6 ETH on little pudgies. So I think they're on the uptrend now. And then same with the token. Like at the very least, I would just, if you have $5,000, put $1,000 in now. $1,000 if it gets to 2.7, 1,000 if it gets to 2.4, 1,000 if it gets to 2 cents. Like DCA down because in my opinion, one, this isn't going below 1 cent. But two, like I don't know how much lower we're going to go, but below 2.7 cents, because I think right now we're establishing a floor. Like every time it's come below this now, I think people are going to be looking to buy. There's one of those self-fulfilling prophecies.
Yeah, it starts to become a. I always say it with these memes. It's a market maker's and an exchange's dream. They're just gonna chop you up, accumulate all that supply, and then full send it.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. It made so much money off of this so far.
And let me know what your thoughts are about AVAX and Litecoin because I know a lot of people have been discussing about it.
All right, so AVAX. So this was one we were looking at not too long ago. Now, AVAX did have their mainnet December 16th, so yesterday. I was looking at this inverse head and shoulders. It actually broke to the downside and broke support. So right now for AVAX, I would be waiting until we get a close on the daily above this $48 level, because it does look like it is, closing below that. And so if you're looking to buy some AVAX, at the very least, maybe right here is midterm support at about $44. It may be a good spot to add some. And then after that, around $40, I think is going to be a good level as well. So yeah, but AVAX, the only thing is just this close below and this break below after its hype died down from its main net. So
Yeah, let's be
potentially
honest.
maybe a good
Shit
chop.
marketing. Shit marketing.
Yeah.
I was looking forward to AVAX mainnet. I was tweeting everything like that. I had a little AVAX army going on. I think the tweet got like 20k views. I was like, yo, AVAX army, let's all get lit. And then the mainnet comes out. They post like one video, like just like whoosh, and I was like, this is shit. Like, this is shit. This is
Yeah.
shit. We've all been
Yeah.
waiting how long for this? There's on a boat party with the guy with the banana in his dick and doing all that weird stuff. I was like, this is weird. Like, just launch the mainnet and then start talking about all the projects on the mainnet going crazy, and like really
Yeah.
dial in and hash it.
Yeah, exactly. They just, like I said, they had that whole thing with the yacht incident, and they tried to make that their main marketing thing, but it just didn't pan out per se. Everyone saw through it, and they could have done so much more. But like you said, they released this video, hoped it would pump it, but as we saw in the chart, it kind of fell on deaf ears, and now we're just breaking support. So yeah, I would wait for AVAX to reach at least some semblance of support before even buying it. Um, and
Yeah.
then
I actually
yeah,
swapped my
especially here.
spot AVAX for Griffin.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, because I'm thinking so Solana eco plays right now are very, very big. And people always think that Solana is just meme coin. So I feel like it could be um, a big play like Sol infrastructure. I'm also looking at hyper liquid infra players as well. I think that's going to be big plays.
Yes, Hyperliquid's been crazy. Like that chart is probably the most bullish chart that I've seen in a long time. Like it went from $4 to 28, $30 in 2 weeks.
Bro, Andrew Tate had
Like,
like 1.2 million there from $4. It's market, bro.
yeah, his quote unquote quant told him to buy there. So
Yeah, yeah, that guy that's been rugging us for the past 6 months. Cause got
yeah,
the alpha.
right. Oh yeah, that's too funny. But yeah, going over to Litecoin real quick is yeah, I know we took a long in the trenches. What, someone called that at 119, was it?
Yeah, yeah, I think so.
Yeah, yeah, around 119. So that long is printing right now. So if you guys aren't in the trenches, definitely join that. And then yeah, I mean, looking at it right now, like it was good support around this 115 level. It's bounced nicely. The weekly is looking good on the RSI, starting to curve back to the upside. If we go to the daily chart looks good on the stock RSI. It's actually oversold, crossing to the upside, and the RSI potentially could cross above the signal line, which could indicate some more bullish action at least until 136. So yeah, Litecoin's an interesting play right now. It's kind of in the middle of the range. I wouldn't buy right here. I would wait either for a retest near this 115 to 120 level, or if you're holding it right now, I'd sell near 135. But yeah, the next big resistance after 135, looking at about uh, probably around here, more or less around 160. So there's a lot of room to run on that. But yeah, Litecoin's not too bad. Be interested to see if that has its another, I think it's usually like an end of the cycle runner. So maybe we have it at the end of December, start to have its last run before pullback in January. So
Yep.
not too bad.
Agreed, agreed. It's one of those ones, it's a slow burner, but it makes money, man.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. So cool, cool.
And
Let's see.
let me see if I can I want to drop some alpha. I want to see if I can share my screen as well. Um but I did change a few of the settings. So let me
Oh yeah,
try.
yeah. While you're doing that, I'm going to share Ethereum's chart real quick
Yes.
and then go over that because Ethereum is a coin that knows how to piss people off. So
Yeah,
it's
literally. Literally.
I don't think I've seen so many angry people about one coin for so long in a while. Like it's one of those coins where you think it's going to break out, it's getting above 4,000, things are looking good, and then it drops back down. And it's really just been hovering ever since it broke this trend line. Like it's been bouncing between 3,500 and 4,000 for the past, call it 3 weeks. And so, I mean, yeah, it's a good range if you're trading it. But yeah, for Ethereum, I would wait to buy until at least this trend line. But really, I mean, 35, 3,600. That'd be the golden level to buy because it's bounced there multiple times now. As far as the resistance to break, it's looking like at about $4,080. That's the big resistance. So just a little bit higher than 4,000. What I'm watching right now is I was looking at some fractals, and basically, whenever we had December of last year, we had Ethereum pull back about 10%, and you can see it was chopping down in this area here in December, and then it actually broke out in the second week of January, and then that's when it went up 15%. Which, if we extrapolate that to this, potentially, if we bounce around more in December and then break out 15%, that'll put us at about $4,600. So just below its all-time high, middle of January. And so maybe that could happen. Maybe it'll break out now versus mid-January. But yeah, potentially we could expect some chop action like we had here. I mean, it looks like almost the same thing is happening. So yeah, it's just one of those things where if eventually we do have that full-blown alt season, then it could push Ethereum over this 4,080 level. I do know that on the inflows, just real quick, I don't know if Farside has updated their inflows yet. Now, but BlackRock actually had over 700 million worth of Bitcoin inflows. So this is actually net positive, I think 460 or 470. And then Ethereum, I think they bought about, I want to say 130 million worth of ETH. So this should be about 140. So there's still some inflows for Ethereum. It hasn't completely died on that, which is what I like to see. As long as BlackRock is buying a lot, it tells me they're still bullish on it. And usually that's a good sign going forward for price action. So yeah, Ethereum could break, but again, until we break out of this range, close above that, even just close above, 4,000 convincingly. I'll say 4,080, 4,100. Then I would start to look for a lot higher.
And Ethereum's one of them ones, guys. If you're watching this and you're a new trader, it's slow, but it's rewarding. Like once it gets out of this range, just hold on to your position. It will just become like the S&P and just keep going up. Maybe that's after it passes 5K and you just see it run all the way up to 8, maybe even onwards to 12K. But it is rewarding. So get your positions in, whether that is spot or leverage, and just hold them. Trust me, hold on to these ones, because if like the way you see these coins move is they don't let you get in on the pump. So it will go sideways, down, and then up, up, sideways, down, up, up. So it's like if you have that position while it's in the chop, you don't want to be in that thing where, okay, you see yourself go in the red 10% and then you just close it and you're like, fuck, I don't want to lose any money. And then you close it and then you open it. And before you know it, you look back and you see, oh shit, I was in the chop and I just lost like money just because I was closing the trades when I could just kept it open even though my position was down a little bit. Now it turns into the support, so if you are like trying to swing trade this and trying to get good positions on ETH, that you do want to see this thing run to 8K, 12K, those types of things, just be patient. Maybe try not to over leverage and just DCA into that trade. And if you're not capable of doing that, just buy it spot, because I do think ETH is going very, very far this cycle, honestly.
100%. Absolutely. So, yeah, that was just one of the things I wanted to share. And then also, I guess I might as well share one more is Salana. So Salana is one that people thought it was going to break out because of the Pengu airdrop. The
Yep.
tension is back on the Solana chain with meme coins, etc. But we cannot break out of this downtrend here. So I drew a little parallel channel, stems from November of last month. So almost 1 month now, it's just we've been stuck in this channel. And it went up to this 225 level, couldn't break above that, and then rejected. And so right now for Solana, it's just one of those things where you just got to keep waiting. Again, it's just this period where there's no euphoria. There's almost capitulation, but not quite. People are just getting a little scared now. So any little pullback now, they're thinking, oh, I better take my profits. And so, yeah, maybe take a little profits, but just once we break this trend line here, Solana could go a lot higher. So I'd say if Solana has a close above 230 on the daily, then we could be off to the races, going to at least 250. But in the meantime, if you're thinking of longing Solana, I'd probably wait until at least, well, at the very least, around 210. But a good entry is around 205.
Yeah, and I feel like people don't realize just how bullish we're about to get. So during this stage, just be patient. Like what Data said, be patient. Don't blow your load in the downtrend. Wait, because the next uptrend you're going to have, it's going to be ballistic. It's going to be the last stage. It's going to be the euphoria. We're getting close to the euphoria part. We've had the media attention, right? We had the doubters when we just carried on going up and people were calling for 30K. People were calling for the pullback from 70K, whatever. It never happened. So now we're getting into that phase where we're going to enter the euphoria. And when we're close to euphoria, when you start to see NFTs become hot. Because NFTs are the most biggest bullshit ever. And when they start sending, it's worse than the meme coins. Like you talk about minting something for 0.02 Salana, and then you're going to be selling it for like 25 Salana. So it's going to get crazy very fast. Okay. And I wanted to share my screen. So let me, I'll set up the little share screen. I'm going to add data back and set this up because I wanted to show you guys about virtuals and also about Griffin and stuff like that as well. And I think Data, you might actually find this stuff pretty interesting because I've been spending a little bit of time breaking this down and actually having a look at this.
Yeah, I see you on those AI agents now. I see you putting in some work. So
Yeah,
it's
yeah, I'm
probably one of the
actually
best narratives to be in.
exactly. I'm actually thinking. No, I'm not even thinking. I'm building an AI agent of my own as well. And I do think it's going to be good. I've been developing it since we went to Bangkok, so I do think it's going to be quite a good play for everyone, to be honest.
Love it.
But I just need to figure out how to set up my screen share because to nan.
Change the buttons around just a little bit.
Yeah, I changed my setup for my live streams literally the other day because I want to set it up, and then I actually took off my own live stream. So is what it is. I'll set it up.
And while you're looking at that, I'm just going to talk about some news things that came out today. So, some big news items that people may or may not be aware of is actually the Bitcoin Policy Institute drafted an executive order to designate Bitcoin as a strategic reserve asset. It just needs Trump's signature on day one. So that's a big thing. And then also, you had BlackRock release an educational video explaining Bitcoin. So, and that was today as well. And so you have these big institutions like getting involved, and BlackRock's obviously been a major player, but for them launching an actual big institution, like that shows if they're launching an educational platform, like they're really full on about getting on their clients and a lot of other people.
And BlackRock are one of the few people who are actually like they're turning into perma bulls, and I don't see why people don't really appreciate the fact that your bags are being pumped by BlackRock. You know how
Yeah,
crazy that is. Like
100%. Yeah.
BlackRock's literally pumping your bags like that. That's
Literally, they're
ridiculous.
buying hundreds of million. Like literally, just today, they had their biggest Bitcoin inflow with over 700 million in the past month.
Yeah,
Right.
and nobody cares. It's crazy.
Yeah,
It's
100%.
crazy. So I want to take you through a few of the plays that we've been putting inside of the trenches for memes, and then break down like the reason why I'm so bullish on this AI narrative. Okay, because it took me a while to actually research and find out this information because most of it's on Twitter. It's not really on YouTube yet, which is why I'm even more bullish on it as well. But first things first is TikTok trends are coming back. So this is Trust Token. And Trust Token was created a week ago. It's already at $32 million market cap. I got in at 20 million. I'm up about 43%. Brought in 7K, sold 7K, Moonbag 3K. Easy money, but I think that this trend is going to go very, very high because it's literally called Trust the Process. And I really like that. Like, just trust the process. Like, I love those types of things. Keeps me motivated as well. And as you can see, it's
Yeah.
pumping like crazy right now. Another one is this meta here. So this meta here, I'm telling you guys right now, this meta right now this is the next like multi-billion-dollar market cap. So I was speaking about virtuals last month because Leo, the fucking child genius,
Like
put us on.
savant of base chain.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, the base chain savant, right? So he was speaking about virtuals a month ago, and the reason was somebody put, I think he put $4 million market buy into virtuals. Okay, that's what set off this whole thing. Is that some guy who's definitely connected, probably a CEX guy, blasted in like 4 mil around here. Then now you can see that virtuals is valued at 2.69 billion. Now, the interesting thing is, and I actually tweeted this, even though virtuals is valued so high, nobody really invested into it and nobody really even cares. And I have proof because it has the least amount of mindshare compared to Fartcoin, AIXBT, Griffin, and Goat. Yeah, it has a $2.6 billion market cap and has been pumping like crazy. This to me shows that number one, Virtuals is overvalued right now. And one of these or a few of these are severely undervalued. And when you go from, let's say, 200 mil to 2 bill, that's a 10x. But it's a 10x on a big bag, and it's very fast because virtuals did a 10x basically in the space of a month. So when I'm looking at things like virtuals, I'm looking at things like AVAX. Well, I don't think AVAX is going to do a 10x in a month, not during this stage. You probably do a 10x in a month right at the end of the cycle. So I'm looking at, okay, ecosystems. Where can I invest? Where I can buy? For example, with virtuals, it was Luna as well, and then there was prefrontal and neocortex as well. I bought both of those, and they did pretty well. They made me like decent money, like 15x on each of them, small bag. But that's an ecosystem play. What about in hindsight if I put 100 grand into virtuals over here a month ago when it came out, okay, like down here, and I also put 20 grand into all the big virtuals? That's the lick, right? That's where you make 10x on 100 grand, you make a mil, and then you make 200k on all the little shares. Same thing with what people have done with Hyperliquid and the new memes on Hyperliquid. Okay, so now I'm looking at, okay, Griffin agents. This thing's only came out a month ago and it launched. It went from 2 mil market cap down here all the way up to 200 mil market cap. And again, this will be the stage where people say, oh, I'm late. Well, I honestly thought I was late on virtuals when it went from 20 cents to 50 cents, or even all the way down here when it was like 0.04 cents to 50 cents, like 100x. I was like, oh shit, I'm late, right? Maybe virtuals is cooked, right? And maybe I won't put it in. And now look, right? Same thing with Hyperliquid. So the reason why Griffin is in the same category is because Griffin is actually AI infrastructure. It's not an AI agent. AIXBT is an AI agent. Griffin is AI infrastructure. What this allows you to do, which is fucking crazy, is it allows you to create your own agents inside of its dashboard. You can program it, and then you can have it do multiple things. You can ask it, this is brand new by the way, you can ask it to copy trade, right? Flip, and even snipe tokens. And then it gets better. The money that you make, you can log into these ones, you can get it to shop for you, all inside of Salana.
Hey.
Right? Do you know how crazy? Oh, I hit a lick on my pump fund. Okay, book me a holiday. And we're going to book your holiday and pay for it all inside of the app. Okay, same thing for the sniper.
Wow.
Right? This is super powerful, and this is more valuable than virtuals. And virtuals valued at 2.6 billion. Okay? And the only reason why it's not popping is because it's just on beta right now, and only certain people have the beta. Now, with that being said, it opens up more ecosystem plays. And these are also backed by the founder of Salana. Right? So it's backed by the biggest guys it needs to be backed for. So you don't even have to show your bags when the main guys of Salana are basically showing your bags for you. Okay, this is what makes it so big.
They actually totally pinned it to his X account probably like a week or two ago.
Yes, exactly. And I faded most of it. Like I seen this thing at 20 million and I was like, busy, markets flying. Like I was in like 15 different trades. So you had Bitcoin going to all-time highs. You had Ethereum waiting for Ethereum to break 4K. I was a bit distracted. And then I like recently, I've had a time to actually look into it and I was like, oh shit, like this is going on Binance, it's going on Coinbase, it's going on Perpetuals, like it's gonna be there simply because it's infra. So this is what we've been waiting for. It's like, we have meme coins and we've been waiting for the infra season on here because these are things which are gonna go into the billions, okay? So with that being said, Griffin, AI infrastructure, but then we also have ARC, and ARC's interesting. It's one which I've been DCAing in recently since these levels over here. I'll remove all of these so it looks a little bit cleaner on the chart. And you can actually see that this structure is very nice. And it's only at $100 million market cap. Again, these things, in my opinion, are going to the multiple billions, okay? And the reason for it is because ARC is actually open source code, and they're building rigs, which is like bulk code, to allow people to build AI agents for themselves. So previously, when Andrew Tate had the big hype of building AI agents, I made a YouTube video showing people how to make AI agents with make.com. Issue with make.com is You can't really add too much uniqueness. You can't make a UI UX where people can log in like a dashboard, like we were showing with Griffin, for example, like this. And it's not really that scalable. Okay, it's just like a easy solution to building it. However, what Arc allow you to do is they give you the code. Okay, I think it's inside of their GitHub over here. They give you the whole rig where you can use this code, upload it for yourself, and all of a sudden, just like that, boom, you can build your own AI agents. And there's been a few agents built on top of Arc that are already having success. In fact, one of the companies which is doing very, very well right now, I think it's actually on here, is VVAI.fun. I think it's called like VVAFU token. And the reason why it's so good, VVAI, this one, Vivafu Dafu, terrible name. You can see
Yeah.
it's ran up to 60 million, right? From less than 100K market cap. Okay. This chart is just over a month old. So this is 14th of November. Right now, we're in December the 18th. This is just over a month. You're talking 10x's, 20x's, 100x's, depending on when you got in. And the craziest thing is it's not finished because they allow you to make and launch your own terminals like Pump.fun. This is the Pump.fun for terminals, right? And they're using Arc. So all of these Salana guys are now working together on the infra. Okay, this is kind of like what we had last cycle when you're seeing Ethereum, and then you're seeing like the ETH, and then you're seeing the layer ones, and then you're seeing all the people building on ETH, okay, and then you're seeing all of the dexes and stuff like that. And if you just invest into the infra, you made crazy bank on big bags because these things go into the top 10. It's like a magnet, you know? So when you look at the Salana ecosystem right now, and you look at the Sol eco, you can see the top forming coins are all memes, basically, right? Very few infra plays there. Probably like Render is one of the biggest ones, and we all know how big Render is going to get. Okay, so if we look at the Solana ecosystem right now, you see Pudgy's at 1.9 billion, Pyth Network, which is 1.6 billion, Radium at 1.4, Helium at 1.3, Jupiter at 1.3 as well. These don't belong here as long as Wormhole, right? There were certain coins over here, such as Boom, and even I would say Giga, and I would say Baby Doge as well. Even like this, probably not PayPal, it's probably going to do well. GMT, okay, Jito, Basic Attention Token, they don't belong here, right? They don't belong here. And also this is going to grow. So when I'm looking at this ecosystem, I'm like, right, I don't really have time to blind date memes all the time. I'm quite busy. But I do have time for the infrastructure play. And I understand that in 6 months, when this thing probably goes main now, even probably less, like probably a month or two when it goes main, everybody's going to be using this thing. And the craziest part is you have to pay Solana to use it. It's like a subscription service. So these lot are going to make millions and millions of dollars every day because now you don't have to overcomplicate. You can log into Agent Sniper, you can code it, and you can launch it. And there you go. You're going to have a terminal just launching and running for you, right? I've even took this a step further. What we have now done is we have took the AI agent that we was already building, and we are going to be integrating this with Griffin, and we're going to be launching it and connecting it inside of the trenches. So if you don't know what the trenches is, this is the group which we have been using, which has allowed people to make hundreds of thousands of dollars. I think even recently, me and you were talking about this earlier, Crypto Days, a guy brought a whole...
Yeah, on the Wins channel.
Yeah, yeah. This guy, random guys, not me, I promise, not a marketing stunt, right? He literally brought a car with the trenches money, right? And it's not like a crazy brand new car. It's not a Lamborghini. This is like achievable. This is just a used car which he bought from the trades. I think he made like over $100,000 just from taking the trades that Crypto Data has been putting inside the channel. With these trades, they can make money, right? Now with Solana, the average trades inside of the trenches are actually profitable on average, right? You can see the average ROI is actually 91%. Okay, and different times of the market, especially when the market's crazy, you can hit 100x's, multiple 100x's, which sends the average through the roof. The issue is you can't invest into 61 calls a day. Sometimes these calls are even like 200, 300, sometimes like 1,000. You can't do that. Although there's 20,000 coins launched every single day on Pump Fund. So even though you're finding the 10% or even sometimes the 1% of gems inside of this channel, managing your take profit, your stop loss, buying into all these trades is too hard. And sometimes if you connect a trading bot, is you think it's easy, like, okay, well, I'll just connect a copy trade and I'll copy trade it. You don't realize that the bots are going to beat you on gas. Some of them even have Salana nodes, which means they're like 10 steps ahead as well. And also they're going to beat you in terms of money, right? And they've been doing this for a long time. So they get in at 22 cents. You get in with 50% slippage. You get in at 30 cents. They've already sold and made 50%. And you've just brought in, okay? So we need to have a bot, a trading bot of our own that can trade all of these meme coins and manage their positions on autopilot. And we're going to be using Griffin and creating our own version, which is going to allow anybody from the trenches to trade these memes. And we're going to have a token attached to it. Because when I look at AIXBT and I look at the other projects out there that have gone to 20 million, 30 million, in fact, there was one today, which is literally called, I see these guys made like 100x on it. It's called Unicorn Fart Dust, right? Unicorn Fart Dust is what it's called. It's absolutely useless. It launched today on the 18th of December. It's quiet for about 6 hours and blasted to 30 mil market cap. Okay, and the reason why it blasted to 30 mil market cap is simply because it was created as a joke on YouTube by this guy. Right, so with that being said, if Unicorn Fart Dust is going to go to 30 mil market cap, God knows how big Trenches AI is going to get to when we're going to be working with Griffin, using their technology and slotting ourselves right inside of this ARC ecosystem, using AI agents, literally giving you your own Trenches AI agent that's going to be inside the trenches for you. So that's crazy news, and that's just something I wanted to share with you, you guys today, and just a whole new like narrative and things that I'm actually looking at and deep diving and actually looking to put a decent amount of my portfolio. And I've already put in like 50k into one. I'm going to be aping in like 50 to 100k in each of these, into ARC, into Griffin, into the other ones which were on there as well. I think I actually made a list on Dex Screener over here. Oh, also guys, Hyperliquid tokens are actually live on Dex Screener. You can see them here as well. But I made a list. Alchemist, AI16Z, VV AI, Nai, which is the meme coin on top of Griffin, and AIXBT. I think that this portfolio here is going to be insanely profitable, considering that most of these have launched less than a month ago, and they are all really far below $1 billion market cap. In fact, the only one that's getting close to $1 billion is AI16Z, and if I was to look at Griffin compared to AI16Z, I'd say it's 10 times better. So,
Yes.
yeah, that's just my thoughts. That's some thoughts I want to share them with you today.
Awesome. And I think a couple things there. So yeah, all you need to do is just bet on good projects and be patient. And I think in today's society, people are so impatient. They want that 100x right away, that 50x right away. And while yes, they do come, depending if you have the right tools, like overall, a lot of the gains are made with having these high conviction plays with the right narrative. So like Tyrell was just saying, I mean, you find these good plays that actually have, AI infra, which being a main one, like I said, Griffin, ARC, etc., or good AI agents like AIXBT and others. Like I think if you combine that, you get the best of both worlds, and then that's when you really get those big gains on size. Where Tyrell says he's putting in 50, 100K or more in each, and so yeah, people need to look at that and place those high conviction bets, and then you can still have a smaller portfolio that then in the trenches you can use Tyrell's AI agent to then trade for you and help you along the way. So then you have two bags working for you, and that's when you can really have that diversification to where you have your high conviction and even like you were saying earlier, your long term, medium term, and your short term bags. And then that's really where you can start making a lot of money because you're not looking at your long term bags. You're just because you know those are going to go. It's just time for people, the big money to get in and for those developments to continue, to update and then eventually come to fruition. So yeah, no, a lot of great things there, and that's great that you have that coming to the trenches too. So a lot of opportunity for people in there.
Yeah, and all of these are on a dip right now. Alchemist is down 15% in the last 24 hours. It was at like over 100 mil market cap. Now it's down to 69.6. Okay. Griffin is also down. And in the past 6 hours, it's down like 18%. Okay. It's a good time to buy in on all of these. Blink is down 25%. Okay. So all of this was simply because of the airdrop for Pengu. But then, like, people are like monkeys. They're actually like everybody in life. We've got shit going on. We're quite stupid, right? So we care about Pengu when it launches. Now it launched, we don't give a fuck. We care about Bitcoin hitting 177k. Now it's hit 107k. We don't give a fuck, right? We're on to the next thing. Okay, so I really do think people's attention is going to be moving towards here and Hyperliquid. They're the two main things which attention is going to come back. Even Hyperliquid tokens, they also took a big hit as well during this stage of people moving their mind share and moving it over. But again, I still think that these tokens on Hyperliquid are also going to make money. Like the Hyperliquid money is similar to Solana. It never left the ecosystem. People got that airdrop. A lot of people didn't sell it, and if they sold it, they just went right into here and just continued gambling inside of the Hyperliquid eco. So that system, that ecosystem just drives and it just grows. And in my opinion, that's the kind of way I'm looking at. I tracked a lot of the whales inside of Griffin, and all they're doing is they're just moving their funds in and around the ecosystem because they know that on size they can make good money. And the beautiful part about it is also Trenches AI is going to fit directly inside of that ecosystem. So I'm looking forward to seeing how this thing plays out, and I'm also looking forward to the markets. Maybe we even should create an agent for trading, like a trading agent.
Oh,
Do you know what I'm
hey, now you're
saying?
speaking my language. That's right.
Exactly, right? We feed it the watch list. We give it the watch list. We feed it things like the stochastic RSI and stuff like that. And then it just tells us when it hits those things. And sometimes it can even trade them.
Exactly. And at the very least, like you said, tells when it hits those things, then that could be the signal to look at the chart and then our support resistance trend lines kind of take care of the rest.
Exactly. And, one thing I wanted to show people, which I showed them on a YouTube video, is kind of the history of the stock market, right? And how the stock market kind of was originally, like the early stock market, right? So originally, the earliest version of the like trading, we all know from like looking at Bitcoin and stuff like that. When we look at the history of money, it was like spices, right? It's value and then it's spices, right? Then it went into like slave trading, which you have like the stock market, it's like livestock, okay? And then obviously it was also animals and stuff like that as well, right? Which why you have Wall Street. If you know about Wall Street, it's because like you used to have fucking like slaves walking down Wall Street. That's what it was. Then it moved into like stocks of businesses, and you had to walk into these places, right, and physically buy your stock and bid your stock. Like it was pen to paper. You walk in here, like this is how you're moving, right? You had to be there, okay, buy and sell. It's like kind of going to like a car auction, right? Then what happened is they figured out, okay, we don't need to do that. So your order book used to actually be people's orders, like real people's orders. Okay, then your order book became an actual computer, right? So you roll in there, and let's see if we've got like the good pictures here. You roll in there and you start to punch your orders in. And you had a little bit of computers. Computers at those times, super expensive, super big. You had to actually be there in person, right? These were like old school exchange floors. Like these are actual exchanges, right? Then the time that we now recognize, where you have the physical order book, where it's red, green, numbers going all over the place, where you have your Dow Jones, all that shit. That became the stock exchange that we know and we remember. But guess what? Do you know what the smart people did? They invested into the computers and they built robots to trade for them. Look at BlackRock. BlackRock have something called like the fucking all-seeing eye or something that just sees everything and knows what it's doing, knows exactly where the money's going. That's how they identify new narratives, like investing into healthcare, obviously investing into Bitcoin, investing into drones and stuff like that. If you've seen the recent drone thing, all that's shit owned by BlackRock. So they own every single industry. They can identify everything because they invested into the tech. While everybody else was trying to figure out their best trading strategy, they was thinking, okay, why don't I just build something that trades for me forever? We're at a new stage of the market. We're at a stage where people now are building agents to trade for them. So instead of having to think like BlackRock, you can build your own BlackRock inside of your house, in your boxes, on your laptop. So the game now becomes who can build the best agent. Just like ChatGPT, there's going to be dummies which turn up and say, oh, well, ChatGPT is wrong and I'm right. And, you know, ChatGPT this and that. And then there was the smart people who thought, right, let me build my own version of ChatGPT and let me actually learn how to prompt engineer so I can make it better. So the smart people will be optimizing their pump fund agents and optimizing their copy traders to trade for them on autopilot to make millions, right? And the funny thing is they already are. If you look at some of these wallets that I've been looking at recently, which have been buying these things, like, you know, UFD and stuff like that, you'll see these guys are printing money. These guys up over $300,000, right, on autopilot, right? Some of these other guys are in profit on like the millions on autopilot, making hundreds of trades a day. The difference is that when you have the traditional copy traders, which we all know and love, those copy traders can't talk back to you. They can't give you feedback. Whereas when you have the copy traders that we're going to be working on, these are agents. They're going to message you back and you can speak with them in text. That's the beauty of LLM. Instead of having to speak to it in code and be like, right, let me change my slippage, let me adjust my my amount to bid. So if you don't know, for example, you have priority fees, you have max buy slippage, you have MEV protection, you have bribe fees. You have the code, all of them, to make them good and optimize them. Instead of having to do that, you just message it and say, yo, can you fix the copy trade thingy? Like, you have to say the whole thing. And it's going to sort it out for you, right?
Yep.
And that's what we're building for the trenches. We're going to be ahead of the curve for this thing, right? That's what's so powerful about it. And everybody watching this video right now, you're going to have the opportunity to get access to this. And not just to get access to the tech, but also to get access to the token, which I think is what's going to make this thing so bullish and hype as well.
Absolutely. And like you said, it's a new age, it's a new world, so people need to adapt or else they're going to get left behind. And so AI agents, AI infra is the future, and being able to utilize this, like Tyrell said, I mean, that's how you can actually become profitable and take emotions out of trading
Yeah.
because, you know, like we all know, emotions are the things that wrecks everyone. People buy FOMO and people sell fear. We should be doing the opposite. And so if you train a bot to do the opposite, literally it's just going off of data, and it has much more data than you can process every second working for you, then the opportunities are limitless.
Yeah. Do you know what's crazy is because it's an agent, you can connect it to all the APIs. So ours is connected to Twitter, so it can see the mind share. It's also connected to Deck Screener, so it can see the volume, the hold account, and the growth. It's also connected to Pump Fund and Photon and things like this. So it can see everything it needs to see. And the biggest issue normally to process those things is that you would have to code and enter things. Now with LLM, we literally just type in a message. Hey, I've seen that AI is trending right now. Only buy meme coins that are related to AI with high volume, ones that you think can make 5x. All right, safe. Boom. It will problem solve it and go spit out these things. And it's crazy because this is something which we've been working on for a while, but there was no graphene. Now there's graphene. These two things combined is going to be absolutely crazy. Now, guys, if you do want to get access to be using these types of things, you don't have to pay any special money. It's not a subscription. All you have to do is be inside of the trenches, okay, and be ready for when we drop this thing. So just join the trenches, follow Trenches AI on Twitter, and make sure that you keep your ears to the streets. If you guys remember, some of the biggest token gains that we've ever had over our time has all been just from keeping your ears to the streets. The earliest guys make the most money, and the ones that are late, just like the Penguin launch, that are down 50%. Some person bought out 4 trillion. So you don't don't be that guy who buys that $4 trillion market cap or something stupid like that. So get in, keep your ears to the street, join the trenches, and use this time to learn. Okay, so join, learn how to trade from crypto data, ask questions, learn about markets and narratives. Use the alpha channel and share alpha. Don't just shill shit. If you shill shit, I'm probably going to delete this one as well. Don't just shill random things. Share alpha, share narratives, learn about Hyperliquid before Hyperliquid is hot. Learn about Trenches AI before Trenches AI is hot. Learn about these things and immerse yourself in these things, and that's how you're going to get rich.
Absolutely. That's all people need to do is just if you put in the time, then you'll reap the rewards. So if you fail to prepare, then you prepare to fail. So make sure that you're listening to Tyrell, doing everything, put in the work, but also utilizing the resources that you have, i.e. the trenches and all these other resources and staying ahead of narratives and putting in the research and the time to do that. And so, yeah, there's a lot of money to be made in this market. Yeah, I think that, so we're gonna have a few more weeks. There's gonna be a lot of volatility. Obviously, we do have the FOMC meeting, which is tomorrow. So the FOMC meeting is going to determine if the U.S. cuts interest rates again and if they stop quantitative tightening. If they do both, alts are going to send. So that's why you're seeing today a little bit of chop, uncertainty ahead of that meeting. So keep an eye on that. It's probably the biggest meeting of the month. And then after that, yeah, Tyrell said AI agents going to be big. Even RWA plays, real world assets, look towards
Yeah.
that for next year, especially. And with DeSci, decentralized science, and then also,
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
I guess
Decentralized science is a big one as well. Actually, CZ and all of them are actually in that. They're investing a lot
yeah,
into this like decentralized science research papers. Is a big thing. I think
yeah.
RSP Research Coin was one.
Yeah, so if you go to pump.science, their Twitter account, literally pump.science spelled out entirely, they whatchamacallit, yeah, CZ and Vitalik were at Bangkok, Thailand, earlier, I think it was like a month ago, where they went to this meeting that had was about DeSci. And so that's what's initially started the DeSci movement, where literally like pump.science, they pump coins for science. So like at each market cap milestone, say 5, 10, 15 million market cap, they would unlock new research for like these mice or health longevity or whatever it may be. And so those are the first two tokens that Tyrell has up on the screen, URO and
What
Riff,
the fuck?
and they're gonna, yeah, and they're gonna launch more, right? So, but again, keep an eye, have Twitter notifications on for them when they launch their new coin. They actually also partnered, or I should say, supported a recent launch called Drugs. That was one that was launched by DAOs.fun, DAOS.fun, and Drugs is like their whole thing was trying to make the market cap bigger than the pharmaceutical industry. Like it was, and it got up to I think 50 mil market cap. And so their DeSci is an up and coming narrative. Not a lot of people are keeping an eye on it, but you need to, especially if CZ and Vitalik are on it. Like who doesn't want to live forever or to improve their health? Like literally health is wealth. It is the most important thing you need to be focused on. So if there's literally a narrative that's going to cover that, like in my opinion, we're at the infancy of DeSci. Like AI agents, AI infra, yes, we're still
Yeah.
early, but DeSci is even earlier. And so
Yes.
if you find, those good DeSci coins that can gain some traction. Also, last but not least, is the quantum computing narrative. So remember when Google came out with their chip that was a few days ago that said it's solving a problem that normally it's solving a problem in 5 minutes that would take supercomputers today over 10 septillion years. The over longer than the age of the universe. Like it's able to solve it in 5 minutes. And so this is where we're at. Now they said it's not going to break Bitcoin's SHA-256 algorithm for at least for another 2 to 5 years, but still, like then you see quantum stocks they've been sending. There's another coin called QF, Quantum Fusion. If you look at the chart, it actually went up. I want to say it doubled over the past few days. QF. I don't know if it's on CoinMark. Yeah, I think that may be it. Quantum Fusion Network. Okay, it's on Dex Screener as well. But yeah, that's another one that's been gaining traction. So, like I said, the quantum narrative, the DeSci narrative, all those are sending. So you guys need to be paying attention to this stuff.
Bomba clock. This is going
Indeed.
crazy.
Boom. Indeed. I saw it at 17 minutes and I faded and then I went a 2x after that. So it's probably going to keep
What?
going. is Griffin or Ark in its infancy, right?
Yes, correct. This is going to 200 million.
100%. That
That's what
shows you
I've
guys there's
started
levels
to.
to this stuff.
Yes, bro. This is what I've started to try to explain to people is like infra plays can run to the billions because you still see value at 200 million. Meme coins struggle to run to the billions because once they get to 200 million, you struggle to see the value in it. You can speculate on it. Like for a joke, it might go to a billion, like Peanut, for example. But when Peanut was at 200 million, it's hard to see value in it without Elon Musk shilling it, right? Or without again listing on Binance and these types of things, like real insider cabal shit. So when you look at these plays, these plays can be like some random old guy just working on his research paper, but you can see it running to like 200 million, 300 million because it's infra. So you look at the overall science industry, like fucking hell, it's like trillions of dollars, and you're like, okay, this makes sense. So like you can justify the purchase, which is what makes the prices go higher, and great spot, great spot. Let's what we'll do is inside of the alpha channel, inside of here, we'll drop the alpha from this video, especially if you're watching this right now and you're part of the community, hop inside of the alpha only channel. Let's start finding more of these science narratives, and especially pump dot science as well. That seems like a no-brainer.
Yeah, 100%, 100%, guys. And that's what you get by being in these trenches, being deep with the research and everything. You can find these good opportunities. So you just got to put in the time, and then and eventually you'll make a lot of money from it.
Yeah, I bought a coin on Hyperliquid and made like 15x or 20x like in space of like 2 days. Like actually being like in the trenches right now is it's fairly profitable because nobody's really looking at these things. Like nobody's talking about QF really, you
No,
know.
no one's talking about it. But literally, it's sending. Look at that volume: 2.8 million, 1.2 million lick. Like,
Yeah,
yeah. And that's the thing is, if you get on these things early, well, yes, to most people, 30 million seems like a lot. Hey, in this day and age, like 30 million's the new what, 10 million, 5
new,
million.
yes, new 5 million. It's crazy.
Yeah. Right. So yeah, it just shows guys like pay attention, and you can find a lot of opportunities, a lot of hidden gems.
Exactly. So look, guys. With that being said, um, we're gonna leave that there. We're gonna hop on. Jakey's having a meltdown over some type of attack on meme coins or some bullshit. Probably chatting. He's probably chatting rubbish. But he's saying that there's some meme coin things. So make sure that you guys keep an eye on that. Hopefully that doesn't bring any volatility to the meme coin markets and type of things. Awesome. To spin it back and summarize, we have covered the few potential new narratives, things like AI agents going for that next leg up, things like uh, the science narratives as well, and decentralized science, pumped out science as well. And we've also covered a lot of charts. So if you've only just joined, make sure to go back through this video, look at those key points because we're not going to discuss them again. We spoke about virtuals. We only spoke about virtuals once. Virtuals when it became the next big thing, ran up to like $2.4 billion. So watch these videos, research, go into detail with them, and then ask questions inside the trenches if you have questions.
Yes, sir.
And
Couldn't say it better myself.
Crypto Data, bro, again, amazing stream, bro. Thank you very much, bro. These streams are always amazing. 10 out of 10.
Absolutely, man. Thanks for having me, and hope everyone learned a lot. Till next time.
Till next time. Let's do another one most days. Let's try to get one done like every 2-3 days.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, one love. Take care, bro. Peace.
All right. See you, man. See you guys.